That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks, to a celebratory Always Irish show. I'm coming to you right after the call-in show, which was a wild, wild journey. What a great night in Notre Dame land. And you know what, you guys? These kind of nights don't come around as much as we want them to and as much as they should in Notre Dame land and for all this program's been over the decades. There aren't enough nights that feel like this one. So I hope everybody embraces it. Feel it, love it, live it, soak it in, share it with your family and friends. Nights like tonight are rare. This feeling is rare. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So let's get into it. Thanks for being here. I got to tell you, man, this community, this Always Irish group that's growing and expanding and everything, man, I love it. Just the vibe is just right, and it's a beautiful thing. So let's get into this, go over a couple notes here. Maybe now that we're past the rush of the call-in show I do right after the game, I'm recording this, 1:15 in the morning? Maybe I'll be in a position without as much going on to be able to analyze this a little more clearly than just being in the celebratory mood. Let's see. So first off, thanks for being here. Obviously, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. Johnny appreciates that as well. Notifications on that way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it. If you don't want to see my face, nobody blames you for that. The call-in lines were popping. So many calls. Listen, I have obligations after the call-in show. I do this little video. Then I got to write articles like it's going to be a long night. We went a full 2 hours. I capped people to like 3 minutes per call, tried to move them. I still had a full bank of calls after 2 hours and 15 minutes that I just couldn't get to. And I feel bad, but like that means business is popping. But I feel bad I couldn't get to everybody. But call during the week. We'll have more shows. I'll go live at night again, and we could get some more calls in. Thanks to everybody that jumped on board. And don't forget, Sports Illustrated, Notre Dame Fighting Irish coverage. Type it in Google. Read all about it. We have a lot of articles up already. More articles going up. I'm going to write a few when I'm done here, and we're going to get it going for you guys. And, of course, patreon.com/Always Irish. Former captain, leading tackler Mike Goolsby and myself breaking it all down. We're going to have a fun week after this one. We're going to have a really, really fun week after this one. Here's what I'm going to start with. Multiple people that called in on that post-game call-in show were in tears over what this moment meant for them and their family. Just out of love for Notre Dame, out of wanting this for so long, us talking about this upcoming game for so long and stressing out about it, and would we be able to pull it off? People remembering, their grandpa and their dad that's no longer with them, but would have celebrated this win or whatever. Like, this is the first game of the year. This isn't like the championship or anything. And I had multiple grown men calling in. This moment meant to them. Damn it, that's a beautiful thing. That's why I do this. That's why I do this. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing to me. And I appreciate all of those people and everybody that tuned in and wants to join this Always Irish group and the family and everything. And the tailgate's going to be popping. I think we're going to have a lot of people at the tailgate. It's going to be fun. So that's number one. This community's growing, and I love it, and I love all you guys. Thank you sincerely. Let's get into this now. Notre Dame just needed to win this game anyhow, anyway. Ugly, dirty, clean, a piece of art, horrible looking. My opinion the whole way along was, I know what a nightmare this place is going to be to play in. It's going to be hot. I know they have SEC talent. We know we trust Mike Elko and we respect Elko. All this stuff was in play. Then you added in our perceived biggest weakness is their perceived strength, our O-line, their D-line. It was all a brutal, brutal matchup. And what have I been telling you guys, though? What have I been saying the whole time? I'll show you. It's right here. What I've been saying all summer, building into this moment, is a lot of respect for Mike Elko, definitely. But I've also been saying year 1, game 1 against year 3, game 1. And I'm holding to that when I say I think it's perfectly reasonable and fair for me to have higher expectations that Freeman has his guys in a better position to go win this game tonight in year 3, game 1, than Elko should year 1, game 1, even if it's at his home place. I was never willing to give that concept up, and I'm glad I didn't. And I'm happy for Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman needed this win in the biggest way. Notre Dame needed this win in the biggest way. It's just where the program was at is in a tricky spot. Like, you kind of feel like you were going in the right direction, but the recruiting's kind of tailed off, not in a good direction. And then if you were going to start out 0-1, that would have put you in a position where you're like, man, this feels like it should be better than it is, but it isn't. What is our foundation? If we're not winning elitely and these games, now we're 0-1 and the recruiting's already trended away from you the end of the summer, that would have been a very dangerous spot for Marcus Freeman, because then at that point, where is your stability in the program? If you're 0-1 and the recruiting's trending away from you, then where does that leave you? That would have been the problem. I really liked Marcus when they came out of the tunnel there. Marcus was chirping a little bit, pointing around, getting fired up. I like that. If that's the new Marcus, give it to me. Give it to me. So I liked him getting fired up out there. Listen, in regards to the game, the actual game play, there's obviously a lot to like, and there's a lot to clean up. But what you had to do is find a way to win this game in any way you could. And now you have a little breathing room to clean things up. You don't have to be as precise to beat Northern Illinois and work out some kinks next week. But I'm telling you what, that home crowd you're going back to is going to be a hell of a lot louder now that you did this than if you were 0-1. You just needed to escape here with the win, and then life will slow down and we could ease in to whatever our reality is going to be, and kind of ramp back up towards Louisville, hopefully with a couple wins here in between, and ramp back up to Louisville. So you did what you needed to do. Mission accomplished. I hope those guys are feeling good about themselves on that plane ride going back. Good job fighting it out on a tough night in a tough environment. Everything wasn't clean or pristine or whatever, but you did what you needed to do. Now, penalties, really rough, man. A bunch of penalties. A lot of them were killers, just brutal penalties. Some missed chances for some huge plays early in the first half. There were some, Riley Leonard didn't see some things that were open, or you were close to breaking some stuff, and it didn't happen. The third downs, I think we were, what were we? I could try and bring it up. It was like at one point 2 for 11. We were 2 for 11 for a while there. Let me see the team stats. 2 for 12. Notre Dame is 2 for 12 on third down. Like, that's tough. The fourth downs, you got a bum deal on that spot on the other one. I appreciate the aggressiveness of Marcus going for it in a field position game, to go for it that deep in his own area. When you have Riley Leonard, you think that's something you could get done and make work. I like that. And then you got those 2 big runs that you absolutely needed to get to win the game. Let's talk about the defense as well. I mean, you got the interceptions. You came up big when you needed to. I think it felt like we were getting ran on a lot worse than we were getting ran on at times. 146 yards they ended up with. Did anybody realize we ended up with 198? We ended up just under 200 yards. And I know, like, there were some big chunks that added into that. But I mean, if you said before the game that Notre Dame was going to run it for almost 200 yards on these guys, you're thinking Notre Dame's winning then for sure. Notre Dame's winning if you're doing that. Like, whew. Riley Leonard didn't exactly light the world on fire with his arm at all times, but no turnovers for Notre Dame. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, those penalties are bugging me. You'll clean those up out of that loud environment, and you'll clean that up. But that would have been a tough way to lose your first game on the back of like 100 yards of penalties or whatever. It would have been tough. So you made it through that, but gotta feel good for Freeman and feel relief for Freeman, for the whole program, everybody involved, the players, the team, the support staff, just everybody involved. Mike Denbrock, like in a tough circumstance, trying to figure out how to do just enough to win this game offensively. Mike Denbrock deserves credit. Al Golden, all the defense, just playing their hearts out. All those guys deserve credit. How about Riley Leonard, man? He's going to be sore tomorrow. I know he's a big, tough kid. He's going to be sore tomorrow, taking a beating, hanging in there, doing what he needs to do, sacrificing his body. It's a beautiful thing. Goolsby's been talking about maybe Notre Dame having a little different attitude. And he's saying, do we have some guys that could present a little different of an attitude, a little bit more of an edge than we're used to Notre Dame having lately? And I feel like you saw that a little bit with this team. You saw a little bit of swag. You saw a little bit of juice. In a way that I'm not sure you always see from a Notre Dame team in these moments. But there's a little attitude, a little spark. I like that. And look at the old man, Jack Kaiser, leading the team in tackles, of course. The old man, Jack Kaiser, just engaged, I believe. Congratulations to him. You got to like this. Botello, the number 2 tackler on the team, 6 total tackles for Botello. You love seeing that as a guy who needed to have a big year and everything, coming back. And then behind, look at this. Kaiser, the old man River, Botello, Sneed, Heinisch, Bowen, Osbury, Schuler, all these guys. It's a beautiful thing to see all of those names and all those guys and their hard work pay off. Some of them are older, some of them are younger. It's just a great thing to see them out there making those moves, making those plays in a really, really just a tough situation. So the way I see it is you did what you needed to do. I have been live all night, so I didn't see any follow-up on the Faison injury to know whether that's a longer-term thing or a little tweak. So I just got off the call-in show, fired this one up. I don't have the answer on that of what exactly the dynamic is on that one. So we'll have to see. But it doesn't seem like you got too banged up and you got the win this program desperately needed. You got the win we desperately needed just to calm the waters, make everybody feel just more stable about things. You don't feel like your back's against the wall. You feel like you're in pole position now. You're ahead of the playoff chase, not behind it, by the merits of this win. Everybody was rooting against you. A lot of the national media game day, they were picking A&M. Vegas was picking A&M. Everybody was picking it. Johnny didn't pick A&M. And by the way, my score was pretty darn close. I had 24-16. It was 23-13. I was right in that ballpark. Just a really good win for Notre Dame and a good win for Notre Dame people. It's just, We needed it. Like, that is my default, is we needed it. The fan base needed it. Everybody needed it. Marcus needed it. I'm so happy for that guy. It has not been smooth sailing, but he's been working his butt off all the time. The recruiting thing, he's working his ass off, and it doesn't always work out, or certain guys are playing games with their commitment, whatever. Like, it has been an arduous journey the first couple years for Marcus Freeman. It has not been smooth sailing for him. And I'm glad he got this one. He's been doing a lot of tough work. And I'm really glad for him he was able to get this one. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to go write a few articles, and then we'll be back. So we're going to have some fun shows coming up, everybody. Thanks for enjoying this one with me. Everybody on the call-in show, they donated and called and chatted. We had a wild time over there. Thanks to everybody. Enjoy this one. You needed it, and you got it. Enjoy it.